Hello and welcome into the what a way. 2 seconds into the video already messed up. Welcome into the WNK page. I am George Herbig, chief forecaster here for Weather Now Kentucky. We have a episode of Kentucky's Weekly Outlook tonight, a little bit later than when we usually do it. Let me fix my microphone here so you guys can hear me a little better. Usually we like to do these on Tuesday and Wednesday, but we had a feeling that Sunday through Tuesday would result in a pretty strong storm type of pattern. So we wanted to wait until today to do this video with you. However, we do have Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday as some concerning days, so we'll go over that, as well as some rain possible for Saturday. So a pretty active pattern here. Oh, and by the way, because of how dynamic this system is, there is a solid shot at some snowfall on the backside of this event, if you can believe that, on Wednesday night going into Thursday. We'll talk about that a little bit as well. Make sure you say hey as you're coming in so I can say hello to you guys. Nancy on YouTube, hello, how are you doing? Jamie and Cassie on Facebook, hello, how are you guys doing? So we're going to give a few moments here as always before we start diving into the information. If you would not mind, please tap the share button on your screen there. If you are on Facebook, it's at the bottom of your screen. Tap that share button for me. I would appreciate that. Get this video out on your news feed so that your friends and family can view it as well. We'll make sure we get information out on this because this is probably... yeah, I would say to date of this year, this is probably the most concerning look that we've had in terms of strong to potentially severe weather. So I want to make sure we're getting all the information out as swiftly as possible. Jennifer, hello. How are you doing on Facebook? Laramie, hello. Melissa, hello. Again, we'll get it started here in probably about 30 seconds. I just want to make sure we're giving people enough time to get in here and load it on into everything. So how's everyone doing? It's been a while since we've done one of the, well, it's been about a week, but like I said, we usually try and do these on Mondays, or I'm sorry, on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, but I wanted to delay it a little bit to make sure that we cover this next few systems accurately. Saturday or Sunday through Tuesday looks to be a pretty busy time frame. Chastity on Facebook, thank you for sharing the video. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a ton. Monday looks big. Adam, we'll cover that, my friend. Christy, hello. Mike, hello. Summer, hello. How are you guys doing? I'm going to butcher that name. I'm sorry. Kianya? I'm so sorry, but thank you for the 100 stars. I appreciate your kindness a ton. Do you have a black eye? I don't. I just have very dark circles. But thank you for pointing it out. Hope you and the family are doing well. We're doing awesome, Michelle. Thank you for asking. We're doing awesome. All right, let's go ahead and get this bad boy rolling, shall we? So let's go ahead and look at the looking ahead screen here. Sunday, possible thunderstorm threat there. We'll go over that. Monday, severe storms question mark. That's more of a conditional threat. We'll talk about that as well. And Tuesday is the main day to have some concern for our area. And we'll, of course, tear that apart too. Now, at this time, some finer details are still obscured, and basically meaning, you know, we're a little bit too far out to know the exact finer details and to be precise with it. But a lot of the signals that we look at for medium range are all there to promote a severe threat for Tuesday, possibly Monday, and possibly Sunday as well. So that's why we said we might have to add Sunday to the alert day area. If you missed it, we did issue an alert day for Monday and Tuesday. We might add Sunday to that. We'll have to see how things kind of trend. But overall, these are the three threats that we're mainly talking about. And I've thought about adding the snow chance on here for Thursday. I'm not doing that just yet, but just know with the type of system that we're dealing with, there's a lot of moisture, and it's a part of a cold front. That cold front will push through Tuesday night and create a snowfall threat for Wednesday to Thursday. Not really a threat, obviously. It's not really going to stick very much, but it's snowfall chance, I should say, for Wednesday night going into Thursday. We'll briefly touch base on that. We'll go over all the model data and whatnot, too. What I want to show you, though, we have not made any specific W&K forecast maps, but I will show you the Storm Prediction Center, National Weather Service Storm Prediction Center, their maps. So this is for Sunday. As you can see, barely clips the northeastern side of Kentucky. I don't think Sunday is going to be too much to write home about, but we'll touch base on that really briefly and kind of give you an update there for Sunday. On Monday, so again, this is a multi-day setup. On Monday, again, kind of clipping the northern sides of Kentucky, maybe western Kentucky as well. This would be an extremely severe day for places like Missouri, Arkansas, for those places out in central United States. It could reach over here. We'll talk about that. I think there might be a cap in place for Monday that keeps us at bay, kind of keeps us calm, but we'll talk about that here in just a moment as well. Thank you to everyone tuning in, by the way. I see all the hellos and whatnot. Thank you for all the shares. I appreciate all the shares on Facebook. Thank you so much. Now for Tuesday, this is the big day for Kentucky. So currently the SBC has a 30% risk or just under, or sorry, 15 to 29% risk. I am confident they're going to add a 30% or higher risk for Central and Eastern Kentucky. And after I show you the information, you'll understand why. But this is by far the main day for Kentucky here. Like I said, Sunday and Monday, some storms may roll through, some may be severe, but Tuesday, it could be more widespread. I'll try to stay away from strong language when talking about stuff like this, because I know it freaks a lot of folks out. But I want to make sure I give you guys the accurate forecast here. And Tuesday might be a pretty significant day for some. And again, we'll break that down for you. But so again, to recap here, this is the SBC's map Sunday. SBC map for Monday. Not a whole lot going on. Tuesday it's a big boy day. It's the big boy day. We're going to break down that model data for you here in just a moment, but real quickly, I got to give you guys a message from our sponsors to take care of the bills here, if you wouldn't mind. Just take a minute and a half, sit through this, and just kind of, maybe you'll find something you like. Right Implement, where quality meets affordability. I can attest personally to their tremendous customer service. With growing and mowing season here, think of Right Implement when deciding on where to make your next purchase and save on tons of equipment like these deals here. Thank you so much, Right Implement. The Romp Music Festival is more than just a music event. It's a celebration of community, culture, and the enduring legacy of bluegrass. With a stunning location, an unparalleled lineup, and a passionate audience, Romp 2024 is shaping up to be an unmissable experience for music lovers from near and far. Tickets are on sale now at rompfest.com. Digital Solutions out of Radcliffe, Kentucky wants to give back to the W&K community. So they're offering 10% off any seller repair with code WNK. Shop and repair your technology locally with Kayla and her team at Digital Solutions. And why don't we keep it local with Box Drop Barstown? Not only are their high quality mattresses already marked at 30 to 80% off, but secure a free pillow with any purchase of a mattress using code WNK.
Yeah, I'm Steve with Greyhawk Roofing. Some things that make us different about Greyhawk Roofing. Number one, we're family owned and operated. We don't treat it as a transactional relationship. We treat it more like a long-term relationship. We're going to work for you so that we hope that you refer us to your friends and family, and we end up doing work for those people as well. Quality is big for us. We have a quality control representative on every job site, and that's actually my dad.
I'm not quite sure what happened in the rest of that video there. We'll make sure we get that fixed. Sorry to Greyhawk Roofing. By the way, they are available for emergency tarping on roofs and stuff as well, which may be needed in the coming days. So make sure you jot down that number that we just put down on the screen there for you. Greyhawk Roofing on Facebook, on Google. You can search them up and see all their information as well. Not really quite sure what happened in the rest of that video. We'll get that looked at here. So sorry to them, but that's a phenomenal company out of Lexington. They cover all the rest of the areas around Lexington as well. So make sure you reach out to them if anything does happen to you in the coming days here. So again, we'll get that fixed up for them soon. I'm not really quite sure what happened with that, but awesome. Great. We love technical issues, don't we? So back to the weather forecasting here. Thank you so much for listening to the messages from our sponsors. By the way, they're the people that give us the ability to be here for you guys. So thank you for not only listening to their messages, but also for the few of you that are choosing to do business with them. Thank you so much for that as well. So let's go ahead and break this down a little bit for you. So first thing I want to show you are the dew points. So with every storm system, there has to be a few different mechanisms at play. All right. The biggest thing that we've lacked so far in every storm system that we've had pretty much all year long has been moisture. Okay. Now we've gotten a couple of tornadoes. We've gotten a few severe thunderstorms. Nothing crazy so far though throughout March. Nothing like last year. If you guys remember back to last year through March and early April, it was hectic around here. That's probably some of the least amount of sleep I've ever had. This March hasn't been too bad. February wasn't too bad. Like I said, we've had a couple of tornadoes, a couple of severe thunderstorms. Nothing too crazy. And the biggest reason for that has been a blocking of the big pools of moisture. Now, I don't think we're going to have that blocking for this system. So what I want to show you here, so this is Kentucky for those that may not know, where my cursor is kind of circling over. Tennessee's right there, Indiana's right there. What I want to show you is that when you're looking for strong to severe weather, not really looking for, when you're forecasting strong to severe weather, what you're really needing to see are dew points that are above 60. Now, 55 to 60 can get it done, but really what you're wanting to see is dew points above 60. That kind of gives us an idea of what the moisture levels are for storms to be able to have to pull from. So, as you can see, dew points right now, chilling out there, 31, 35. It was a beautiful day outside today. Hopefully you guys soaked it up. But it'll be nice tomorrow as well. Nothing a whole lot going on tomorrow, but what you'll notice is that on Saturday night or Sunday morning, whenever you're outside, it'll start to feel a little bit different. Notice a difference in those dew points. Remember, they were about 30 to 35 for a day like today. Even on Sunday at about noon, we're looking at dew points that are approaching 60 for most folks in Kentucky. As that pushes on forward, I'm actually going to zoom this into the regional view so you get a better look here. I'm sorry, I probably should have already had that done. But as I push on forward, you can kind of see. So here, again, that's actually Monday. But on Sunday, you can see about 15Z, which is around 10 a.m. to noonish. You can see dew points pushing up to the upper 50s, low 60s. Nothing really crazy. But as I push us on forward toward Monday, you can see more of that warm moisture from the Gulf of Mexico makes its way up to Kentucky. Even by Monday at around 10 a.m., you're looking at dew points in the lower 60s. With temperatures that are going to be approaching the mid 70s, it's going to feel like the middle of May to the early part of June outside on Monday. So that's the kind of moisture and the kind of warmth that we're talking about. Temperatures won't necessarily be, June levels, but dew points will, and that's going to make it feel like we're at the end of May toward Memorial Day outside, when really it's going to be, April 1st. So as I push us on forward here, you can see that it just continues to kind of grow and grow and grow, and then it really, really peaks on Tuesday. So Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, dew points get all the way up into the mid-60s, and some people will even go closer to 70s for dew points, which is absolutely muggy outside. You don't want to be outside during that. That's the kind of temperature and dew point outside that when you walk out there, you feel like you're going into a sauna, and that's what it's going to feel like on Tuesday. So that's kind of the pull there. So what I want to do is just kind of back this out and show you the overall look of the dew points. So again, this is Tuesday. You can just see all the way from stretching from Texas to Louisiana to Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Missouri, Mississippi, all the way up to Kentucky, Indiana, and even Ohio and West Virginia. You see, Virginia, I should say. You see these dew points. They're just skyrocketing. It's kind of impressive for this time of year. Mid 60s for almost everyone in between there, and that really sets the motion for things. So I'm going to show you the reflectivity and stuff as well. By the way, we're looking at the European model here. There's a couple different models we look at here. In my opinion, at this current moment, and you can tell the SPC agrees with this as well, the GFS model isn't really handling this all too well. It's back and forth all over the place. There's some dry slots showing up on the GFS that just doesn't quite make sense. So we're rolling with the European model for now, just to kind of give you guys a look at things. So this is going to look absolutely wild right here, but this is the 500 millibar flow chart, okay? Basically, these are what the jet streams look like, way above our head, thousands and thousands of feet above our head. This is super important to understand where these storms get their forcing mechanism from. So when you're talking about storm activity, it has to have moisture. It has to have buoyancy, or what we call storm energy, cape, whatever you want to call it, gas for the storms, whatever you want. Everyone has a different term for it. But you have to have moisture. You have to have that gas, that cape. You have to have wind shear, and you have to have something to force those storms to go, or a lift of the storms. So what I want to show you is we're going to go through all those steps. The moisture, by far, it's checked for all 3 days pretty much, okay? Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right, the 500 millibar, the jet streams above our head. You can see for, let's go ahead and push this to Sunday night. It's kind of there. It's absolutely whipping through here, but it's a little bit more north than you would typically see when it comes to severe weather here. So that's why Sunday is not a major concern to me. Could we see a couple of strong cells? Yes, but I think we're talking about maybe 2 or 3 storms that roll through very northern Kentucky, and then it's out. I don't think we're looking at anything super outbreakish for Sunday. Now for Monday, you can see that the flow just kind of starts looking absolutely wicked here. So I want to point out to you that when you're looking at this chart, you usually see 2 pretty distinct lines. There's usually one distinct line up here, that's called the northerly jet. And you have one distinct line down here, it's called the southerly jet, or the Gulf jet, and then the polar jet, whatever you want to call it. I call it northerly and southerly, or southerly. Okay, usually they're not connected like this. When they start getting connected like this, that's when you start having issues occur. All right, and I'll break that down for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of skip ahead to Tuesday, and I want to point this out to you. So we have the two split jets here, right? We have the northerly one and we have the southerly one, but look at how close they are together. And that is where the concern really rises up. And Mike is actually the one that pointed this out, or one of the person on our forecasting team is actually the one that pointed this out to me today. So I'm going to give him a little credit for that. If you look at how these jets interact with each other, that's when you get the big forcing mechanism to really push these storms to be able to be lifted, okay? Now, if you watch, again, if I pull this back, you have the two splits. You can see them pretty easily here, right here. You have your northerly jet, you have your southerly jet. Pretty well defined there. Now, as I push this forward to Tuesday afternoon, you can see that southerly or that northerly jet really, really pushes down to the south here and almost connects with the Gulf jet, which is absolutely mind-blowing to think about, but that happens from time to time. If this was to happen back in January, we're talking about a blizzard occurring in Kentucky. I want to let you know that that's kind of what we're talking about here. We're talking about this type of energy. But what I want you to really watch is look over Kentucky, Indiana, Missouri, and see what it does. As this gets closer, I want you to see what this does. So I'm going to back it up a few hours. You can see we have some purples and reds showing up. That's some pretty significant winds, okay? It's nothing absolutely crazy. We're talking about 70 to 80 mile per hour winds going on above our heads, but watch as this northerly jet dips closer to the southern one. It's going to ramp those wind speeds up and actually be able to cause storms to lift. And so when we're talking about storms, again, we have to have that moisture, we have to have energy, we have to have lift, and we have to have shear. So we looked at moisture, it's there. We looked at lift, it's there. All right. So now what we look for is there any type of wind shear that we're looking at here? So let's go ahead and take a look at the wind shear chart here. And we pull this up and we go to Tuesday. Again, storms are possible on Sunday and Monday as well, but Tuesday's the main day. So we look at Tuesday for the same time frame, and almost all of Kentucky is covered in a robust amount of shear. We're talking about 90 to 100 mile per hour of shear. Usually what you want to see is this to be over 55 to 60. When you start going towards 70 and 80, that's where things get concerning. You're talking about 90 mile per hour of shear. That's a ton. It's almost too much. It's almost too much shear. You can actually have that, but it's not quite there. So we have shear check mark, we have moisture check mark, we have lift check mark. The only thing we need to look at now is is there any CAPE? Is there any storm energy for these things to really work with? So what I want to do is kind of zoom in so you can see a little bit better for yourself. So this is CAPE right here. And if I go to the same time frame, you can see it's there. It's there. It's not a lot. But when you're talking about a storm that has a ton of shear, a storm that has a great lifting motion, a storm that's moving in multiple directions, and I'll explain that here in just a second as well, and you're talking about a storm that has dew points anywhere between 62 to 67 degrees, guys, you're not going to need a lot of CAPE out of this. Everyone thinks that the more CAPE equals the more storms. That's not the case. You can actually have too much. If this was over 2,000, right, like this number right here that I have on the screen, let's 1193, okay, that's a measurement. All right, if that number's over 2,000, now you're starting to talk about storms over mixing with too many ingredients, and now you've created a complete washout, and it's nothing but rain showers. This number being at about 1,000 is actually more concerning to me than it would be if it was higher. I hope that makes sense. So you're talking about all those parameters that you look at for long range to medium range. They're all check mark, which is why we've been actually highlighting this since the 26th. That was, I believe, the post of our early outlook. And also, I'm seeing a lot of concerning messages. I don't want anyone to freak out because, again, we are about 3 days out of this. A lot of things can change in that time frame. I know we say that quite a bit, but I think it's really important to remind everyone that if that northerly jet that we showed doesn't get quite as far south, we're not talking about as much lift. If the dew points don't come quite as far as high as 65 degrees, well, we're not talking about as much moisture at that point. So a lot of things can change between now and the next 3 to 5 days here. I want to make sure I point that out real quickly. So now what I want to show you is just kind of like the overall radar look. I know this is kind of the part that everyone is familiar with the most, but this is just kind of the overall radar look here. So I'll actually go ahead and back this up for you, and then we're going to into some of your questions. By the way, thank you to everyone that's sharing the video, all the likes on Facebook and YouTube. Thank you for all the thumbs ups, guys. I appreciate you all. I hope you guys are enjoying more of the educational style that we're doing here. I think it's so important, man, for people to understand why things happen, because if people understand why things happen, they'll be able to start to tell weather for themselves. And that's kind of what our goal is to not only forecast for you, but to maybe help teach you a little something from time to time. I think we can all learn things every day. Let's go ahead and push this on through here. Saturday, again, not a whole lot going on there. Maybe a couple of sprinkles, a couple of isolated rain showers. But as you can see, by the way, this is Kentucky right here. As you can see, not a ton Not a ton going over on Saturday. Now, Saturday night might be a few rain showers. Again, not a whole lot for things to work with. They come in kind of late going to Sunday morning. Not a whole lot. Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening, this northeastern part of Kentucky we'll have to keep an eye on. There is a marginal severe threat there. Again, highlighted by the National Weather Service, basically from Lexington to points north. So pretty much I-64 to points north. Again, not seeing a whole lot there, but there may be an isolated severe cell or two. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. We'll keep giving you updates here on Facebook, on Twitter, and on YouTube as well. Which, by the way, I think our Twitter's been in the chat a couple of times. If you want to go follow over there, Mike usually takes care of that for us. And then, going into Monday morning, those showers should lift. Now, this could shift a little bit south. I don't think it'll do that because this model has been extremely consistent with keeping them in Ohio and Indiana for Monday. It kind of keeps us dry. There are a few pockets of rain showers that may develop. There is a small and severe risk because there is some Cape energy that shows up. We showed you there are the dew points are a little bit higher on Monday. But the biggest question about Monday, I'm going to show you actually as well. So this is the last little thing I'm going to show you before I completely just mush your all's brains. This is SIN. It basically stands for convective inhibition. Basically, this parameter shows what may be stopping storms this convective inhibition can stop storms from developing. If this number is really high, that means that storms likely won't develop. So as we go into Monday, you can see it's actually quite high for Monday. And it doesn't really go away until Monday night going into Tuesday. So that's why we think Monday, while there is a ton of energy at play, and it will be extremely severe to our west, for us in Kentucky, I just see too much convective inhibition for me to say, hey, storms are expected on Monday, but I can't rule them out at this time. Again, might clip northeastern Kentucky, again, highlighted in the SPC's outlook as well. We'll keep an eye on that area for Monday evening. Now, going into Tuesday, that's where the big boy comes into play. What I want you to watch here as well is look at this big L. This is the low pressure right here. I don't know why I clicked right there. This is the low pressure. This is actually what's carrying our storms. And watch as it moves to the east here. It's going to go almost directly east, okay? And watch as it does. It's actually going to drop. It's actually going to what we call bomb out almost. Not quite there, but deepening of the low pressure will take place. That shows us that the low pressure carrying our storms is actually strengthening, and we'll be able to produce some stronger cells. So again, we go from 1,000 millibar or 1,001 millibar all the way down to 994, 992 as it exits Ohio. That's a strengthening low pressure, which will cause some deformation bands, which in the winter would have led to some significant snowfalls. I wonder where this stuff was in the winter. But for us right now, it causes a strong line of severe storms. So for Tuesday, the time frame at this moment looks to be there might be two groups here, and I'll explain that to you. So this is actually valid for Tuesday or around 1 a.m. All right, you can see that line is approaching Kentucky. This carries a pretty strong severe risk. I will tell you that right now. As that exits, there might be some clearing for a little bit, and then Tuesday night is probably the most concerning time frame. That's when that remember that 500 millibar that we showed you, that level of winds, that's when that really kicks in and gets going. That's when the Cape is the highest. That's when the dew points are the highest. That's when the wind shear is the highest as well. That's also when that low pressure really begins to strengthen. So there might be two areas, time frames on Tuesday. One very early in the morning on Tuesday, talking about before sunrise, and then one right around sunset on Tuesday, and then one on sunset on Tuesday. That one could be quite severe. Just again, given all the parameters that we've seen now, a lot of this might change as we head closer to the event. So make sure you're following our page on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever it might be, for updates on these things. But I wanted to go live tonight just to give everyone a proper heads up, like, hey, this is nothing to play with, truly. Especially when you're talking about the SPC putting out this big of a risk 5 days out. That's usually something that lights everyone's eyeballs up. We talked about it a couple days before the SBC talked about it. Everyone called us crazy, per usual. Internet loves being mad at people. But again, I think Tuesday is the most significant day, and it might have two different time frames on Tuesday to worry about. Monday, I think storms are possible, but not likely because, again, that cap is going to be in place. On Sunday, especially Sunday evening, northeastern Kentucky, basically from Lexington to points north towards Cincinnati, Ohio, that area might see some strong storms, but I don't think we're talking about enough ingredients to make it to where some super outbreak. I do think on Tuesday, I know you guys are going to ask me, at this time, given what I'm seeing, now again, everyone, this might change, okay? I want to make that very clear. This may change as we head closer. At this time, given what I'm seeing, I do think quite a few tornadoes are possible, with a couple of those probably being strong. I think you're talking about wind gusts anywhere up to 70 to 80 mile per hour. I'm not seeing a massive hail threat with this because these storms are so close to the surface. Also, a lot of the energy that we're talking about is surface-based energy, basically meaning that if you get hail to be a threat, the storms have to be elevated. They have to have a lot of time for the hail core to travel all the way down to the ground. I don't think we're really seeing that. But at this time, if you're going to ask me, and again, this it very well could change. I think a few tornadoes are possible with a couple of those being strong. I definitely think that to date for this year, basically from when that ball dropped to now, I think we're talking about this is probably the most significant severe outlook we've done. I don't think we're talking about anything historic. I want to make that very clear. I don't think we're talking about March 2012. I don't think we're talking about, which is pretty big because the anniversary just came up for it. I don't think we're talking about 1974. I don't think we're talking about Mayfield back in 2021. But I think this day could have its own impact. If things continue to trend the way that they're looking now, again, I want to make it very, very, very clear that this could easily change. So I don't want any more freaking out. Just make sure you're staying tuned for updates. That's what this video is about, is just to inform you, hey, we're seeing something showing up. Let's get you alerted to it, and then we'll trend it as we go. But I want to just say the models have been pretty consistent with this, even all the way back 3 or 4 days ago, which is actually quite amazing because the models have been absolutely terrible. But it's been pretty consistent so far. There will be several updates both on our YouTube. We plan to go live tomorrow afternoon with an update as well. We plan to go live on Sunday. We plan to do several tweets, several posts on Facebook. You guys will not have more than 3 or 4 hours without an update. There will be several updates done on this so you guys can keep getting informed. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of your comments now, some of your questions. By the way, thank you guys for all the stars. I appreciate that as well. A big shout out to our sponsors, Right Implement, Greyhawk Roofing, which is new. Welcome to them. They're out of Lexington. I've only met Steven a couple days ago, man, but I can tell you he's one of the most down to earth people that I've worked with so far. So Greyhawk Roofing, a great option. If anything does go sideways, they have emergency plans. They are always ready to mobilize their teams, so make sure you're looking into them. It's a pretty easy name to remember as well, Greyhawk Roofing. You can actually Google them and check out some of their portfolio. That's one thing I really love about their company, is that they're actually registered with the Better Business Bureau, so that you can see everything they've done. Rompfest, awesome time there. Hannah's an amazing person to work with. Make sure to check out Rompfest. Right Implement, Aaron, one of the most friendliest people I've ever met. Truly. Right Implement's awesome. Box Shop Bardstown, they're so down to earth there in Bardstown. And Digital Solutions, I mean, they're giving you guys 10% off of sales and repairs. Make sure you go check them out as well. Thank you to all of our sponsors, truly. So what do you think would be the main modes for Tuesday? I think we're definitely talking about it, and again, this could easily change, like I said, but if things hold the way that they're looking now, Tuesday would likely be a tornadic day for most folks. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying that to scare people. I don't get money for you guys clicking on stuff. So don't feel like I'm doing anything for clicks. But I mean, it is what it is. But the facts tell me right now, the facts tell me the main mode would be supercellular. Now, again, easily could change. This is approximately 100 hours out. We've seen this from time to time again. Things have changed within those 100 hours. I would just say models have been pretty consistent so far. Tiffany, we'll have more specific area maps ready for you guys, but so far on Tuesday, the best threat to me looks to be around the I-65 corridor to the east. So right now again, I don't have any maps ready for you guys or any fresh graphics, but right now, the main areas look to be around the I-65 corridor and then the points east. Again, we'll have I'll probably make maps tomorrow. I didn't make maps tonight just because there's so many discrepancies that are still not discrepancies, guys, but just for a system that's 100 hours out, to try and make a specific map for it, you might have to change it 4 or 5 times. And then if people don't come back and check updates, right, then they have an old map in mind and they might have wrong information. So that's why we haven't made any maps yet. But I do plan on making maps probably tomorrow to give you guys more specific graphics to look at. Okay, hey, my county's included, my county's not included. Hello from Me County Confident. Hello, how are you doing? Stacy, hello. Tara on YouTube, hello. Nancy, hello. Matt, I'm not sure what your question is. It's night here for us. Leanne, of course. Thank you for tuning in. So again, I just want to point it out here that a lot of these details can change. I think Sunday and Monday storms are possible, not extremely likely. I think Tuesday's the main day to be looking at. I mean, will they hit day or night? So Matt, on Tuesday, if you're to break it down for you, on Sunday, if storms do happen, it would be Sunday afternoon, and that would probably be far northeastern Kentucky. Okay, so talking about the Lexington to Cincinnati areas. All right, on Monday, I really don't think storms are going to hit because we have way too big of a cap in place. I understand what you're saying there, Matt. I think we have way too big of a cap in place, but if they do hit, it would be toward the afternoon and evening on Monday. On Tuesday, we might have two different time frames to worry about. Very early on Tuesday morning around sunrise, and then again Tuesday night around sunset might be the two time frames there. So a very busy 36 to 48 hours, probably looking to set up basically from, our very early Tuesday going into our late Tuesday night and possibly on Sunday and Monday as well. Make sure I'm not missing anything here. Katie, did I miss something of yours? I see your bro, flat face, flat. I'm really sure I'm making that very clear. And then LOL. I want to make sure I didn't miss nothing for you. I wasn't stressed, guys. Again, our team was talking about it today. We've talked about it for like the last couple of days. We've seen it time and time again where things within that 84-hour window, where things really, really, really change. So I wouldn't stress about it yet. I would just be alerted to it and then check back for updates. Truly. Like 7 p.m. Getting air, with it being 100 hours out, very specific stuff like time frames is not a good thing to answer. I could just say sometime generally in the afternoon and evening on Tuesday, as well as the very early morning parts of Tuesday as well. So for Leah as well, again, guys, very specific time frames, 100 hours out, extremely difficult to do, because a lot of things can change. I can just tell you pretty much be on alert for all day Tuesday. Monday, I don't think storms are really going to hit, although the ingredients are there. I think there's some blocking setting up that might prevent storms from coming. And then on Sunday night, dating back to Sunday night, storms could happen in northeastern Kentucky. So those are your time frames right now. To get more specific than that at this point would probably be irresponsible, because I know that little things like time frames and stuff matter to everyone, but they're going to change quite a bit over the next couple of days. So I don't want to put a time frame on something and tell you wrong now. You forget to check back in and have the wrong idea come Tuesday. So that's why putting specific stuff like that on air here is probably not the best thing to do. Jessica, thank you. Okay, I feel like we're getting really repetitive here, so I'm going to end the video now, because when I start seeing comments get really repetitive, that's a really good sign to me. Again, if you've asked a question now, probably already answered it. I'm not being mean. It's just that's kind of my cue. When I start seeing the same questions being asked, it's probably a good time to hop on out of here, because I got some new information coming in now from the Pivotal Weather site, so we're going to take a look at that for you guys. Again, expect several updates over the next few days. If you did miss any information in this video, it will be on our YouTube and Facebook for you guys to watch at your own leisure. So if I did miss any of your questions, all this information will be on our page here once the videos get done processing. Also, I'm sure we'll make plenty of written posts over the next few days. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't stress out, guys. It's just an alert video. We'll give you guys plenty of updates. Until next time, I'm George Herbig, Chief Forecaster here with WNK. Stay safe, Kentucky.